Let's go to Victoria now and catch up with the opposition leader, Michael O'Brien. Michael, you would have caught the end of that interview. What an extraordinary situation to have Victoria cordoned off in this way.
Yeah, look, good evening, Chris. Tough day for Victorians. We've really had the rest of the country turn their backs on us in terms of our position vis-a-vis the rest of the country. We're not regarded as being safe, and that's a shame. It's a tragedy for us. So many cross-border families, so many cross-border businesses will be feeling the pain. But frankly, we have to look at what failings have led to us here. Why did we get hotel quarantine so wrong? Why does Daniel Andrews continue to avoid getting in the ADF? He had poorly trained private security guards. Now he's looking for baggage handlers who are unemployed. For goodness sake, just get in people who know how to do the job the first time.
Is it an overreaction, though, to seal off the whole state? You've got suburbs locked down, you've got flats, units, towers of flats locked down. The other states were warning people not to travel into those states from the affected areas. Was that enough, or do you think sealing off the borders is required?
Look, I'm not a fan of closing down borders, Chris, but I have to say, given Victoria's numbers, given Victoria is the standout problem child when it comes to coronavirus, I understand why other states have taken the decision they have, and I'm not going to criticise them for it. I think what we need to do is understand how this got out. How do we let the genie out of the bottle a second time? And the answer does come back to hotel quarantine, and we still haven't learned the lessons because the government still refuses to fix it.
Yeah, the more important thing is to fix the outbreaks as they are now. To have those housing commission towers locked down, we can all understand why so many people living in such confined quarters would present a problem, but it also makes it a real problem to lock them down. Their liberty is being denied. We've seen their signs in the windows. Obviously, no one would like it. And there will be the problem of the virus actually spreading within those apartment towers. What should be done in this situation? Is this the right action, or should we be looking to deal with this issue in some other way?
Well, Chris, I think when the government takes an extraordinary decision to lock down particular buildings without any notice to the residents, they didn't have time to go down to the shops and fill their fridges. They didn't have time to do anything, though. It was an immediate lockdown. And when the government does that, they have an obligation to look after the welfare of those people. Now, today we've seen out of date, past their expiry date, packets of food left on doorsteps, people who can't get access to medical supplies, to hygiene products. That's just not on. Now, if the government wants to deprive these people of their liberty, which it effectively has, it has a damn obligation to make sure that their welfare is looked after, and they've failed to do that. And again, this is a government that seems to be just making it up as they go. They're policy on the run, and unfortunately, there's a lot of human consequences for that, and we're starting to see that play out now.
Shouldn't they be actually locking down those suburbs? We've seen them take the drastic step of locking down suburbs just the previous week. Wouldn't it be better just to lock down those areas where the tower buildings are, rather than to actually effectively seal off individual buildings?
Well, look, I don't have access to the information that the Premier made his decision based on, and that's been part of the problem in the pandemic in Victoria, at least. The government has been keeping information very close to its chest. It hasn't been taking the opposition or the Victorian public into their confidence. So Daniel Andrews is effectively saying, take me on trust. Well, for obvious reasons, Victorians aren't really willing to do that. What I would say, though, is that when you have a lot of vulnerable people who live in very close quarters, clearly it provides a risk in terms of contagion. So I don't object to the idea that there needs to be special methods put in place to secure the health of people in those premises. But what we're seeing is that the government hasn't moved quickly enough to put the resources in to look after these people. And that's my criticism. I mean, I understand wanting to stomp on the virus, but you've got to look after the welfare of these people on the way through, and the government hasn't done that.